Two trucks having sex. Two trucks having sex. My muscles involuntarily flex. Two trucks having sex. Two trucks having sex. My muscles involuntarily flex. Two pickup trucks making love, American made.
Listen up, Autothoughts and Decepticlowns. You're listening to Prime Cuts, a non-linear history of the Transformers franchise on television. I'm one of your hosts, Audrey.
I'm your other host, Nero.
And today we hit rock bottom.
We continue the beloved saga of Starscream's no good, horrible, very bad life. And also there's another episode where they make a lot of jokes about attraction.
And also there are lesbians. Yeah,
there
are lesbians.
Oh yeah.
Jesus Christ, how did they get away with writing Airachnid's lines like this?
I have no idea.
It's literally, she's never said a straight thing in her life.
It has yet to happen.
Our first episode this week is episode 18, season 1 of Prime, Metal Attraction.
Metal Attraction. It's like, you see, it's like magnets, but it's also like
wanting to fuck a robot.
Yeah, which we immediately
get from June. Yes.
So we start off here. Everyone's hanging out at the auto base when they see June's car driving up on the radars, much to Jack's frustration. I love that she just drives her dinky old sedan up to this abandoned fucking missile silo. It's great.
I mean, to be fair, it's abandoned in the middle of nowhere in Nevada, so no one else is around there.
Sure, but also, like, I think she's off-roading there, and that car cannot be built for that kind of driving.
It's a Subaru.
Ah. So, but...
It's built for tough.
Exactly. So she gets in there, and immediately gets out of the car and greets everyone. A few details I like here. She calls Ratchet Doctor.
Yes, that's very cute. Given that she is herself a nurse.
Yeah, and I think he like also gives her the Doctor's respect later on, because normally Ratchet is sort of a grumpy guy when it comes to dealing with fleshlings. Doesn't really give them all that much respect, but he calls her like Madame later.
No, I mean, to be fair, that is a question between whether he gives respect to fleshlings or whether he gives respect to literal children. That's
true. He doesn't really care for the children. Although I don't see him give much respect to Fowler either, but no one really does. But
I mean, he calls him agent. He doesn't like...
That's true.
He's not calling him sir because Fowler isn't his superior.
But Madame is quite something. Anyway, she immediately asks where Prime is. And I think it's Arcee is like, oh, he went out on a mission with Bumblebee. And June responds,
Well, Ratchet's like, sorry to disappoint you.
Oh, yes. Sorry to disappoint you. And she's like, I wore my heels and everything. To which Jack goes, Mom! Listen, Jack, you're going to have to get used to the fact that Optimus is your dad now.
Boogie, Jack!
So, of course, we don't have much time to sit around because immediately some kind of weird energy signature gets picked up, and also gets picked up on the Nemesis. And Breakdown immediately volunteers for this mission with his swanky new eye patch, courtesy of Mech, and Megatron is immediately like, okay, yeah, sure, buddy. You're gonna go take this one? After you, like, got owned by some humans?
Megatron's like, I mean, you could do that, or I could just kill you.
It's like, I mean, if you want to go, and Breakdown's like, look, I understand, not the best look for me, but I want to prove myself to you. Let me go out and do this.
It's a pretty good look for him. You know, listen, you have to imagine that Knockout just finds it outrageously sexy, which is the only reason why he hasn't fixed it.
Exactly. I think it's a crime that there
That's
have
his fucking literal husband.
We have seen,
and he's like, no, babe, sorry.
Yeah, I just think it's a fucking crime that we have seen no knockout for like 4 episodes now. Presumably because no one is currently severely injured, which is usually when knockout scenes pop up. But come on, I want to see him talking with Breakdown about that eye patch and stuff. Although by the end of next episode, I'm sure he'll be back next week, considering how things are at the end of the next episode. But yeah, so Breakdown.
What do you mean? We get a totally unambiguous ending.
I'm sure Starscream will be perfectly fine next week.
Yeah.
So we Breakdown wants to go out there and like get it for himself, so he can kind of build back his reputation in Megatron's eyes.
Yeah, score some good boy points.
Yeah. So Miko and Raph arrive at the auto base with Bulkhead, and immediately Miko's like, "Oh fuck, Jack's mom is here, man." She leans over to Raph and's like, "Don't you kind of miss when this secret clubhouse is a little more secret?"
I mean, it's pretty rich coming from her, honestly.
Yeah.
Giving her a knack for subtlety or lack thereof, and the fact that she's literally gatekeeping the Autobots.
Yep. So not so much time has passed before Ratch is like, "Hey, weird signal, Bulkhead, go out and to investigate it." So the other thing here, or no, it's like first actually, Arcee and Jack are about to head out to test something. They're going on a separate mission to test her new targeting chip.
Yeah, Arcee has gotten something recalibrated.
Yeah.
So they just need to do like some routine tests to make sure that it was like recalibrated correctly.
Right. And June is like, "Hell, well, actually, no, it's not." She doesn't speak up yet, because this is when Bulkhead shows up, and Ratchet's like, "Hey, go do the thing," and Miko wants to tag along, and Bulkhead's
No,
like,
she does. She does say something, but she doesn't like stand her ground or anything.
True.
But she's like, "Is that a good idea?" And Arcee like rolls her eyes, but like doesn't say anything.
Yeah. Then
at this point,
then Bulkhead's like, "No, Miko, you can't go. This one's a little dangerous." And then that's when June's like, "But Jack can go with you, Arcee? That's not dangerous?"
And Jack's like, "These are literally completely different things."
Yeah, but Arcee has gotten all pissy already. It's like, "You know what? Yeah, never mind. Bulkhead, I'm going with you."
Yeah, she's like, "No, you're right. No, listen to your mother, Jack. It's way too dangerous for you to do routine tests with me. Bulkhead, I'm coming with you."
Oh boy.
And she leaves, and like Jack just like, as they leave through the portal, the ground bridge, Jack just like looks aghast at June, and June's like, What did I say?"
So we cut over to Breakdown digging around in the fucking desert to find the thing, and he finds it. And then he notices that he is being stalked by a spider.
She's so sexy in this episode.
That's right, Airachnid.
I could not take my eyes off her.
Airachnid is back. No waits for us here with the Airachnid content. She and Breakdown have a little fight.
They have a great exchange, which is like where Breakdown like tries to shoot, where Breakdown tries to hit her or something, and she's like, or throw something at her, and she's like, "Not one for depth perception anymore, huh?" And and he goes, "Not one for looking good," and then tries to shoot her.
He's, his strength doesn't come from his wit. That's not why Knockout keeps him around.
Yeah, blows a hole in the side of the cliff face as she just barely manages to dodge behind it, but it's very funny.
Yeah, he and Airachnid have a fight where he's like, "I'm gonna fucking hog tie you and drag you back to the Nemesis to bring the Megatron, bring you in, you fucking rogue Decepticon." But unfortunately, his pure brawn isn't really gonna help him out here against this spidery trickster here, and he gets put in a big old hole.
Yeah, she's a burrowing spider, apparently.
Yeah. So
she like drags him under. It's very drag me to hell.
Yes, but he manages to dig his way out, and they're still facing off. Airachnid has this weird gauntlet thing now, which we still don't know what it does. We just know that it's
dinghy.
Yeah, it's a whatchamacallit. It's what do they call it in Spider-Verse? Oh my god, how have I forgotten what they call the fucking like thing in Spider-Verse? It's one of those. It's a MacGuffin. It's a Cybertronian artifact from long past. At this point, Bulkhead and Arcee are kind of walking and talking, and Bulkhead's like, you gotta lay off June. She's Jack's mom and all, and this stuff is all kind of dangerous. And Arcee is like, well, I've been protecting him from all this shit for way longer than she's even known about it. So who is really the overprotective one here? And Bulkhead's like, okay, whatever you say.
Well, what she says is like, she's overprotective. I'm protective.
And then Miko pipes up and says, yeah, fuck her. And she's here too.
It's also, I mean, while they're having this conversation, it's like really hard, again, not to interpret Arcee's feelings for Jack at this point as romantic.
It's like, weird.
It's really weird because it like really sounds like she's like fighting with the in-laws kind of thing.
Kind of, like, yeah.
Like June doesn't think I'm good enough for Jack.
It really is.
Basically. And that is sort of like the root of her insecurity or annoyance or whatever it is, whatever you want to call it here, is that she thinks that June doesn't think she's doing enough for Jack, which is like such a like mother-in-law, daughter-in-law thing.
Yeah. It is a very weird setup.
Yeah.
But yeah, Miko is here.
And again, remember that last episode we talked about Jack telling Arcee he didn't want to get her too revved up before bed. Like,
there's just something going on there. But Miko is here, and Arcee almost instantly calls for a ground bridge, because at this point this is fucking routine.
Yeah.
But then Miko's like, but I don't want to spend time in the auto base with that stick in the mud around. And Arcee's like, you know what? Yeah, fuck her. Fine, you can stay. And it's very funny.
I love how responsible Arcee plays at being, and how very little it takes for her to break all the rules.
Oh yeah, she is not so much the professional, calm and collected.
Arcee's a talking motorcycle. She can do what she wants. I want to kill.
But it's really funny because instantly Miko and Bulkhead fall back on their familiar routine. He's playing the music and whatnot, and Arcee just muses like, no matter where I fucking go, I'm the third wheel.
And that's a weird line too.
It sure is.
What are you, the third? Anyway.
Well, there's a lot. There are many jokes later on about Bulkhead and Arcee being attracted to each other. Listen, everyone here is a mess. Everyone here is a mess, except Breakdown. He's the only normal one here.
God bless him.
So they stumble across the fucking con throwdown happening down in the canyon there, and immediately Bulkhead and Arcee jump in to, their two rivals are here fighting each other. What is this, fucking Christmas morning?
Well, there's a moment where Breakdown and Airachnid notice them as well before they actually start fighting, and then there's pause, and then Arcee looks at Bulkhead and goes, "Launch me." Yep,
he gives her the fucking fastball special. It's great.
She gets some good airtime, let me tell you.
They make a good team. So Breakdown.
She has 5 seconds of shooting in the air before she lands again.
Yeah. So she fights Airachnid. Breakdown eventually manages to grab the gauntlet, while Airachnid kind of tries fleeing because she knows how to retreat as well when things aren't looking good for her. And Breakdown turns the gauntlet on, and it turns out this thing is some kind of gigantic super magnet that can, attract metal to it and whatnot. So there's a big old, everything gets drawn towards it, including Bulkhead and Arcee and Miko's phone, as of course she was filming all of this for World Star.
America's Funniest Home Videos.
But then Breakdown sees another button on the side of the gauntlet and goes, "Ooh, what does this button do?" And presses it, and there's another big explosion. And Breakdown heads off with the gauntlet, and Miko runs over to Bulkhead and realizes...
Yes. When the dust settles, it's me lying face down in the basement, on
Yep.
pavement.
And realizes that Arcee is magnetically melded to Bulkhead's back, like a fucking backpack.
Miko's phone is also magnetically welded to him.
Yes,
on
which
his leg.
she is very angry about. So as Breakdown immediately runs directly into Arachnid's trap, Ratchet calls in and identifies the artifact as a polarity gauntlet. And says that is the cause of your current attraction, which causes Miko to yell, "They're not attracted to each other."
Lots of big denials going on here.
You know, magnets just bring out lots of weird things in people, I guess.
Fucking miracles.
This is where Ratchet calls June Madame, because he's like, it's like, Madam, the polarity gauntlet would be catastrophic if it fell into Megatron's hands. Because we are made of metal, and if he wanted to, he could just meld us all into a ball of scrap with this thing. So it's important to recover it.
Yeah. Back in, speaking of recovering it, with Airachnid and Breakdown, Breakdown's looking up at Airachnid and goes, "Are you wearing and she says, "The Chanel Polarity Gauntlet?" Yeah. And has put the gauntlet on and is talking about how a girl can never have too many accessories.
Absolutely. So Arcee and Bulkhead go to pursue Airachnid, or go to pursue and Breakdown.
This is actually the point where they have like the deeper conversation about, oh, that's right.
Yeah. So what happens here? Yeah, what happens
right,
here is
Miko.
Yeah, Miko is following them along, and Arcee is like, "You know what? I'm calling you a ground bridge back to base. I am tired of indulging your adrenaline junkie tendencies." And Miko responds, "You sound just like Jack's mom."
And June is just sitting there. Like, Miko doesn't give a shit. She knows June can hear this.
Yeah, all of this is being broadcast over comms, and so June turns to Jack and goes, "Is that such a bad thing?" To which Jack responds, "I'm gonna go over here."
Yeah.
Leaving Raph and June to uncomfortably stare at each other.
Once Miko is back, that is sort of the point where Arcee's like, "I don't sound like June." And Bulkhead's like, "Mm-hmm." And she's like, "June's overprotective. I'm normal protective." And it's like...
Bulkhead goes,
Bulkhead's
"Yep,
like,
totally
mm-hmm,
different. Totally different things."
And... but I'm here sitting like, girl, Bulkhead, you're in an intergalactic war. You should be overprotective of your human friends. Like, June's right.
Yeah.
Sorry, but June's right.
Which I think is the conclusion they kind of both come to at the end there. But before that, they come across Airachnid and Breakdown holed up in this old abandoned gas station. Breakdown is all webbed up. And Airachnid is... Hang on. Airachnid is planning on using it to, like, ensure her neutrality, basically. She doesn't want to rejoin the Decepticons, but she also doesn't really want Autobots bothering her either. So she's just going to have this as a little deterrent. At some point during all of this, I don't know when, because when Bulkhead and Arcee arrive, a big firefight ensues. Oh no, never mind. Yeah, this is later. This is later. Never mind. This is later on. But like basically, Bulkhead and Arcee arrive and have the world's most awkward fist fight with Airachnid and Breakdown.
The fact that Airachnid and Breakdown can't take them down like this is embarrassing for both of them.
It really is. So Airachnid asks Breakdown, "Still up for a truce, Muscles?" And Breakdown responds, "Only because I hate Bulkhead more than I hate you." You know.
Yeah.
You can't fault him.
But they are unable to take them down, embarrassingly.
Yeah, even when like they are literally tied together. I mean, I guess they can still move all of their arms and legs,
but like when Bulkhead does this and it's noticeable, it entirely shifts Arcee to the side, and when she shifts back, Airachnid just punches her in the face.
Yeah,
like the fact that somehow they survived these like 60 seconds is just like embarrassing, to the extent that like Bulkhead immediately after that, Arcee's like, Bulkhead, stop moving, and he's like, oh sorry, and then just kicks Breakdown and sends him flying.
Arcee gives Airachnid a bunch of gnarly facial scars during this. Slices her up real good.
She had that beforehand.
I guess that's true, but she gives her another one during this, I think.
Does
Because she gave her one earlier on when they first fought. She hits her, she slices her again during this part, and then
so finally, once Breakdown is kicked away, he manages to get the gauntlet, and he's watching this fight happen. He goes 2 bots, 1 cup, and
no.
He says,
I'm
two
not
bots,
making
1
that.
stone.
I'm not making that the title.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, he throws an oil derrick at them.
I do not control the rate at which you title episodes.
That's true.
He throws like an entire construction site on them, basically.
Yeah, he pins Arcee, but doing this has kind of unstuck Bulkhead and Arcee, and I really like this part where they like trade rivals. Like
it's so good. That's my fucking girl, and like you see her like crack her neck beforehand.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention. Very important. There's a bit where Airachnid is looming over the pinned Arcee, and she like stomps on her hand with her heeled boot and looms over her in a very heterosexual way. Ready to like put her out of her misery.
Yeah, she says, well, there is one way to solve your predicament.
And then brings out the arms.
So
this is where the line happens.
Yeah, so, this is the. So I hope it's the same one I'm thinking of.
I'm
with
sure
Airachnid going against Bulkhead.
Yes, where Bulkhead asks, wanna dance? And she responds, you're not my type.
Alright, lesbian.
So at some point Arcee grabs the gauntlet from Breakdown and polarizes everyone. So when Breakdown and Bulkhead eventually swap around to their turn to dance, they try to do the classic Wrecking Ball against Sledgehammer move, but they repel each other. So no one can really do anything at this point. Airachnid attempts to snatch the gauntlet and fly away.
Which, girl, why didn't you just do this from the beginning? There was a point when she was fighting Breakdown before Arcee and Bulkhead got there after she'd buried Breakdown, where she was just like walking away, and then he like undigs himself, and she looks at him and starts fighting him again. You can fly! You can fly! He can't!
Maybe she forgot. Maybe she normally doesn't have a flying alternate mode, and so being a helicopter is a new thing, and she was like, oh, right, I can fly.
That seems unlikely, but okay.
Well, I get also shortly after that, I think Arcee showed up, so that kind of, when Arcee is around, Airachnid don't think too good.
I know, but she was going back to engage. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, she should have left. She should have cut her losses. But considering what happens here, where Bulkhead gets mad air to tackle her to the ground. Maybe
not just tackle her to the ground, but tackle her into Breakdown. That's
true. And they eventually come out with a gauntlet and head back to base.
Yeah. And again, here's another weird line that we get here. So when they're back there, they give sort of a rundown to Ratchet. Like, yep, got it. Don't recommend it for indoor use. And they're like, preparing to walk away or whatever, when June comes up and is like, Arcee, I think I owe you an apology. And Arcee's like, nervous laughter, what the fuck? And, June sort of explains that ever since Jack's dad left, they've been really close, and that she's just very overprotective of him, but that she's sure that Arcee has been doing a great job protecting him, and she can see how much that Arcee cares. And then she has a line, "You're just not the type of girl I thought he'd be ditching me for." Hey, what?
What?
Hey, what?
She also tells Jack to leave, the adults are talking, when he, like, comes up to ask about this. The vibes are all just very weird around here. Also, we get confirmation Jack's dad just left, I guess. I guess he's a deadbeat.
Yep, he's a deadbeat.
So, we cut back to the Nemesis for our last scene, where at first Megatron is very cross that Breakdown has returned empty-handed, but he's like, not entirely empty-handed. And then he turns around, and Airachnid is bonded to his back, much like Arcee was Bulkhead's.
Megatron's delighted.
Oh, yeah, he's like, oh, Airachnid! Oh, what a lovely sight to see. I'm so glad you're back. And she's like, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, through clenched teeth. It's good to be back.
Good to be back. Yeah. So, that is Metal Attraction. We didn't note all of the attraction puns, but trust us, there were many. They were abounding.
It's a 23-minute episode. It's on Netflix. You can go watch it.
Yeah, just marvel at how many jokes they fit in there about Arcee and Bulkhead being attracted. But enough about that episode. We're here to talk about the good shit. Episode 19, Rock Bottom.
Not like this. Not like this. So
we open up, and Jack and Miko are hanging out outside a cave. So, and Miko is like frustrated that this mission is going to interfere with her going to a concert, a Slash Monkey concert. It's their only U.S. tour spot, and Jack's like, "Wow, that's surprising. I thought everyone would be into Bulgarian shriek metal." I just love Bulgarian shriek metal. I know exactly what that sounds like.
Yeah.
But Arcee and Bulkhead walk out, and they're talking about how even though this is supposed to be an entirely cleared Energon mine, they're still picking up Energon signatures. So, as a result, Miko runs into the cave. I mean,
it has great acoustics.
It does. And Bulkhead follows her, and Jack also wants to go in, but he's like, stripped mines like this are pretty dangerous. They could, cause cave-ins and stuff. I don't know if it's the best idea. And Jack's like, come on. She's like, all right, but don't tell your mom. So they go inside, and immediately after they fade from view, Megatron and Starscream arrive.
Yeah, so, the story of the Binding of Isaac?
Oh, boy.
That's kind of the vibes we have going on here.
Yeah, so immediately, as Megatron and Starscream are walking to this cave, Starscream's like, why are we here, Lord Megatron?
But Lord Megatron, where is the ram you are going to sacrifice?
Yeah, he's like, so, I mean, this is just a stripped Energon mine. Do you, why are we here exactly? And Megatron just turns around and goes, you'll see, and keeps walking.
Megatron says, God will provide it, and keeps walking. And Starscream's like, uh-oh, Scoob, I don't have a good feeling about this.
Yeah, vibes are off. Vibes are way off for our old pal Starscream here. As he kind of walks in, follows him around. We got Miko is enjoying the cave's acoustics, as she and Bulkhead find themselves in this big, soaring central chamber. And Bulkhead's kind of scanning for these Energon signatures. Like, yep, there's definitely some Energon deposits still left in here. So he tries calling Arcee, but the cave's mineral makeup is fucking with their comms, so they can't talk to each other. Meanwhile, Megatron and Starscream come across some mining equipment that doesn't, it doesn't exactly look abandoned. It looks fairly recently used. And immediately Starscream's like, oh my god, I thought I ordered all the equipment recovered from this operation after we closed the mine, Lord Megatron. I was so busy in those 4 years of interstellar travel. I put Soundwave in charge of the transport operations, and everyone makes mistakes.
Yeah, he's like, but of course, all of us, and like Megatron, when he mentions Soundwave, just like glares at him.
Yeah.
And Starscream's like, but we all had to take on more responsibilities, so we were all working, we were at over capacity during your absence. So
clearly, mistakes were made, and he just goes,
mistakes were made.
Yes, clearly.
And then he punches the wall, and Starscream's like, hang on. And as he retrieves his arm, there's a hunk of energon in it. He goes, completely depleted, you say?
And Starscream's like, oh my god, you found more deposits we can reopen. And Megatron just like literally crushes the energon rock in his hands, like, you shut the fuck up. I'm not here.
I have an interesting question, and it's one that'll never be answered, I'm sure. But I wonder if there was actually something else that Starscream was doing here besides just
hoarding energon
for himself. Because what Megatron says next is like, I know what you're doing here, Starscream. Don't take me for a fool. I can see that you were hoarding a whole stash of Megatron of energon for yourself. And Starscream's like, well, no, not exactly. If you let me explain. And the fact that he doesn't outright deny it,
right,
but says not exactly, makes me wonder if there is actually something else. Because normally when he gets caught in a lie, he just says, no, what?
I do wonder, because, yeah, you're right, he doesn't really immediately deny it.
I mean, he's trying to defend himself, but he says, no, not exactly.
Yeah, he must have been doing something else here, but that doesn't really matter to Megatron.
No,
Megatron
it's irrelevant.
Megatron starts on the tirade here where I was like, I know about everything. I know about you trying to fucking kill me after finding me floating in space by plucking that dark energon out of my spark. I know about you stealing said hunk of dark energon to try and reanimate Skyquake. And I know how you lost your fucking arm during that debacle, because guess what? Soundwave has been watching you the whole time.
Newsflash, asshole!
And he says, I guess I've kept you around for so long because I have enjoyed watching you fail. But at a certain point, the bit gets old.
This is such horseshit. And he kept it around because he wants to fuck him so bad it makes him look stupid.
But the annoyance has outweighed the hoarding in this situation because he brings out the fucking fusion cannon. And it's like, time to fucking die.
Yeah, and, Starscream, falls to his knees and is pleading for his life. It's like, please, Lord Megatron, give me one last chance. And sure enough, it is that exact moment that Arcee rounds the corner with Jack.
Yeah, Jack and Arcee wander into this situation and immediately Megatron's aggro
the Kink at Pride discourse.
Is this allowed? And then Megatron immediately turns his fusion cannon on Arcee and starts fucking blasting.
God, that thing does so much goddamn damage.
Yes. So Starscream takes this chance to flee.
Yeah, he runs, and as he's fleeing through one of the tunnels, Megatron goes, Starscream, you dare to abandon me? And I'm like, I don't think at this point you can consider him running away to be abandonment. You are a half second away from blowing his head off.
Yeah, so he fires a few shots off at Starscream.
It's a really cool shot. It slows down in slow motion for a little bit, and then just as sort of the energy from the fusion cannon catches up with him and flings him forward, Starscream transforms into his jet form and continues to dodge blasts as he makes his way out the tunnel.
He does a Death Star 2 tunnel escape from Return of the Jedi. Doesn't necessarily go as well, though. So Arcee uses this. It almost does.
He's impressively agile.
Yes. Arcee uses this opportunity of distraction to land some good hits on Megatron, but as a result, some of those shots ricochet up onto the cave and cause a cave-in. A big old rock crushes Megatron.
I love 127 hours.
But then also the rest of the cave starts collapsing, including the gigantic central chamber that Bulkhead and Miko are standing in.
I love 127 hours.
This section of the episode is way more 127 hours because Bulkhead has to like. You'll hear about Atlas.
He's got the whole world in his hands.
So there's a big ol' fucking cave in. I love the way that Starscream gets hit by a falling rock and starts cartwheeling in jet form. It looks really funny.
Some of the way they, again, like as a whole, Prime is on the darker and grittier side of the TV cartoons. But some of the stuff they do, particularly with people's vehicle modes, is like very slapstick in a way that's quite reminiscent of G1.
Anytime Optimus rams someone, it's always funny.
I mean, I'm thinking, like, Optimus ramming something, Megatron bodying Starscream out of the sky.
Grabbing him by the tail wing, and just, throwing him.
In the last episode, Bulkhead grabbing Airachnid and throwing her into breakdown, while she, Optimus just knocking Knockout off the side of the road.
Yeah, whenever there is vehicular combat involved, things always look kind of goofy. My favorite bit of any vehicle mode combat in any Transformers thing is from way, way back in IDW1, where it's the part where Rodimus is hanging out with Swindle on Earth, and when things break bad, Optimus gets sky dropped in truck mode and just crushes Swindle. The Swindle just looks up, and then there's just a fucking truck falls on him.
Oh my god.
It's like panel 1, Swindle looking up and going, oh, panel 2, Optimus landing on him. Always the best shit. But yeah, so everyone's trapped under here. Starscream nearly makes it out, but, can't quite smoothly reach the exit there. He does eventually dig himself out, but that seems to take a while.
When he does manage to get himself out, though, he has a rare moment of self-awareness.
Yes, I love this. So he digs himself out. He's like, haha, you thought you would kill me, Megatron? Well, guess what? I'm alive and you're dead. And he turns around.
Yeah, and he's like, fuck you. And if this was again G1, he would have just left.
Yes, but then he turns around, and then he's like, wait a minute. He's definitely not dead.
He survived too many things. He survived too many things I don't trust like that.
Yeah, he's like,
here, I have two options. I have two options here. Either he survives, and he blames me for this, or even worse, his lackeys come to rescue him and get credit that should be mine. And with a huge grumble, he turns around and makes his way back into the tunnel.
Very, very funny.
Megatron!
Very funny. Yeah, if this is G1, he would have just left, but he's like, God damn it, he's definitely not dead. There's the moment of the funniest G1 Starscream moment ever is the one where Megatron gets hit by a stray shot.
One?
There's so many, but the best one is the one where Megatron gets hit by a stray shot and just kind of falls over. And then Starscream goes, Megatron has fallen! I am now leader of the Decepticons. And 2 minutes later, he gets up and punches Starscream. Because he literally fell over.
I mean, yeah.
Bro.
God. How many times does that happen?
A lot. So,
G1's quality television.
So while Starscream is grumbling his way into the cave, we check in with Miko and Bulkhead. As I said, Bulkhead is holding up this gigantic fucking rock, Atlas style. And Miko's like, don't worry, I'll dig us out of here. And starts lifting rocks one by one. It's gonna take a little while there, buddy. Jack also is looking for Arcee, and he decides to drive. He's a really good driver if he can figure out how to work this thing. Because he gets on one of these fucking energon drills to start digging.
It operates by iPad.
I guess that's true. So, he's looking for an old mining tank. Meanwhile, we make a realization about caves over in Miko and Bulkhead's fun room. which is
They don't have air.
they have a finite oxygen supply. So Miko is really out of breath. She can barely stand up. And Bulkhead's like, okay, you need to stop. You need to stop right now. There's a limited amount of air in here. If you don't stop, you might suffocate. Or no, it's like, if you don't stop, we might run out of air. And she goes, oh my god, we'll suffocate. And he's like, no, you will suffocate. I don't need to breathe. She's like, oh, right. Space battle. And I think there is an inherent darkly comedic thing about having Miko, the girl who cannot shut up, being stuck in the cave with very limited air.
Yeah.
She just keeps talking.
She is so determined to save him. But she is a small girl, and these are very large rocks.
Yeah. So eventually he's like, okay, just like, they hear Jack drilling around, and he's like, oh my god, that must be Arcee looking for us. Here, Miko, grab a rock and start banging it on my foot. And it's so cute. She's like, I don't want to hurt you. He's like, it's fine. I'll be fine. Trust me. It's okay. As he is like holding up a boulder the size of a fucking house. He's like, this is fine. I will be A-okay. So, Jack is doing his mining and crafting, and he's doing good. He's trying to find Arcee, and he hits gold. Except it's not gold, it's Megatron.
Yeah, and Megatron, I know I use this line a lot, but Megatron first goes, so I suppose help for the helpless or something.
Yeah,
something
it's
along
really
those
good.
lines is not in
I
line.
actually have it written down here. He sees Jack and is like, well, I suppose helping those less fortunate would be completely out of the question. If that is the case, you may as well use that drill to finish me.
Yeah, so
You'll never have a better opportunity than right now.
I know I use this quote a lot, but this is literally what you're gonna do with that big drill. Gonna kill me? Better make it count. Better do it in one shot.
Literally, he says that. He's like, what do you think? Don't you think Optimus would do that? Think of the glory. Think of the fucking accolades you'd get for killing me. Seize the day, boy. Optimus would. Unfortunately, Jack is too good of a boy to seize this opportunity.
And also, he says, no, Optimus wouldn't.
And he's right. He's definitely right. Optimus will not do this.
Well, I mean, there are parts in later seasons that would argue with you.
Yeah, but I don't... It's like... I guess it's an honor thing, where, like, Megatron is helpless.
Again, there are parts in later seasons. There's one scene in particular that I'm thinking of that would argue with you about it.
Well, Yeah, he leaves Megatron, who just goes, yeah, whatever, fucking idiot. And he starts trying to dig himself out. Bulkhead's arms are starting to give.
Yeah. Miko's like, are you okay? And he's like, this is fine, .jpg.
Yep. As you can hear, like, pneumatic hisses and creaks from his fucking arms as they're, like, collapsing in on themselves.
I think it's fine.
It's probably normal. But, hey, it's fine. There's someone digging through the wall. It's Arcee. She's found us.
Just kidding. It's Starscream.
It's fucking Starscream. Who is like, ooh. Well, it's really funny because they both have the moment of like, see you, Lord Megatron. I wouldn't abandon... You're not Megatron. It's like the inverse of that moment from the Shadow Zone episode where they arrive to who they think is Megatron reviving Skyquake, and I think it is also Bulky who goes, wait, that's not Megatron.
Yeah, right.
But immediately Starscream goes into taunting mode. And he's like, oh, look at you, big boy. Quite a predicament you found yourself in, haven't you? And then he notices Miko is like, hey, what if I killed your little friend? That'd be pretty funny, wouldn't it?
Yeah, they play, it's kind of like Capture the Flag, but with a human.
And she, like, hides behind Bulkhead's tire, and he's just like, this is a great opportunity for me. Not only do I get to save Megatron, I also get to deliver to him an Autobot prisoner and take one of the strongest combatants on the Autobot side off the game board. Actually, this is a great day for me. I'm not coping.
I get to kill a human.
I get to kill a human.
One of these specific humans who have become quite annoying to me now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if Starscream knows their names. That's unclear at this point. He certainly knows them by the end of the series.
Yes, he doesn't know them yet because then he just refers to, he's like, oh, it's Bulkhead and his little pet.
Little pet, yeah. So it's but he certainly knows who they are.
It's not like Airachnid and Jack. She knows who Jack is.
Yeah, she knows Jack. She did like 23andMe on Jack. She not only knows Jack, she knows like his entire family history going back 5 generations.
Yeah, she looked him up on Facebook. But it's really funny because Starscream like sneaks behind Bulkhead to scare Miko, and Bulkhead just like kicks him in the face. As a result of that, though, the cave starts crumbling faster. So that's, give and take.
Yeah.
At this point, though, Jack actually does break through the wall with the drill. And Bulkhead is immediately...
And part of Starscream's body, I think.
Oh, yeah, he does hit him with the drill. He does fucking hit him. He bodies him with the fucking drill. He goes right through Starscream. Not
sure how he survived that as okay as he did.
It was a glancing blow, I think. So I really like this scene because Bulkhead's all right. Miko, you go. Jack, you get the fuck out of here. And Miko is like, no, I'm not gonna just leave you here. And like,
Starscream's like, fuck it, I'm just gonna blow you all up.
Yeah, and she's like crying and shit. And eventually, she does get onto the drill.
Yeah. Bulkhead's the only reason he doesn't shoot is because Bulkhead's like, oh yeah, genius. Yeah, you're gonna shoot me. You're gonna bring the ceiling down on all of us? Yeah?
Yeah,
think that's a good idea?
Yeah. I mean, who knows? I might be fine, but I don't know about you, skinny boy.
Yeah. Come on, Twig Lakes, let's do it. I like my chances better than yours.
Yeah, so this is actually where Bulkhead is like, ooh, I get to take an Autobot prisoner. But Arcee has already dug herself out of the cave-in and is holding him at gunpoint.
Yes.
And she's like, well, I don't know about that. So there's a cut after we see Arcee pointing her guns at Starscream, and it's Arcee, Bulkhead, Jack, and Miko are out of the cave. And Bulkhead and Arcee are like, we can end this right here if we had some fucking grenades, just seal them all in. And Jack, echoes the thing about like that's not what Optimus would do, and Arcee's like, yeah. Probably isn't. With the implication that maybe that's not what Optimus would do, but maybe it's what we should do.
It's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, that's what I would do. And they just kind of leave them there. Now, this does remind me, there's a really fucked up G1 children's book where this exact thing happens, where Optimus and the Autobots seal the last Decepticons in a fucking cave.
I mean, they do it to the fucking Dinobots in the show.
That's true. But, yeah, they leave. And we come back.
They're their allies.
That's true. Well, they're a little fair weather.
And then we're going to seal them in a cave. Forever.
Forever. So we cut back into the cave, and we see that Starscream is now holding up the world. He's doing an alright job for someone of his stature, but it's definitely not as easy as Bulkhead's whole deal.
And I love Bulkhead's whole deal, again, was not easy.
No, but I love this, where Megatron just, peeks his head in from the side of the cavern, having dug himself out, and Scourge is like, oh, thank goodness you're here, Megatron, you see, I didn't abandon you, I made my way back in here to rescue you, and Megatron is just quiet the whole time, and just looking at him, and Starscream immediately goes into begging mode once more. Like, all right,
this is so sad because he legitimately did come back for Megatron.
He did, but
this
Megatron
sucks for him.
But Megatron's like, how's that going for you?
It literally ends with Starscream begging, and the last image is Megatron looking at him and his eyes narrowing.
It's not. It's like his eyes aren't narrowing. It's kind of hard to tell because of the way his fucked up face looks, but he's grinning. He's making DreamWorks face at Starscream.
I'm not so sure about that. If by DreamWorks face,
he does have an evil grin. He has an evil grin on his face. I know he doesn't really have lips. I mean, no one in the show really, none of the bots really have lips other than Arcee, I guess. But he's definitely given him a grin. And Airachnid. But he's definitely giving Starscream like an evil grin. So Starscream's not gonna have continues to have a bad month. And that's just it. That's just the end of the episode.
Yeah.
It just cuts there to credits.
Yeah, and specifically what Starscream is begging is like, you wouldn't leave me like this, right?
And he just goes,
Yeah, and then Megatron just stares at him, and then it goes to credits. Good time.
I just love how he just looks at him. Like, he barely says anything. He's just standing there. So that's rock bottom. I'm sure this is, you know what they say. Once you hit rock bottom, there's nowhere else to go, right?
There's so much further.
Right? there's nowhere else to go, right? Boy.
There is like one moment at the end of season I think it's at the end of season 3 where Starscream has like a good time again. And that's sort of it.
He's not gonna have. He's having a bad time of it.
Yeah, yeah. Season 2 is basically entirely bad time for Starscream, and then season 3 he gets to have a little bit of a good time again, and then it goes bad again in season 4.
Yep. Or you mean the movie? Because there's no season 4.
That's what I meant. Yeah. Or whatever the Predacon stuff is.
Like it's like the first 2 seasons, and then the 3rd season is Predacon's the Beast Hunters season, and then there's the movie. Yeah.
Okay, never mind. So he gets to have a little bit of fun at the end of season 2. Then that's what I meant.
Yes, at the end of season 2, he has some good moments, and then immediately a certain Cyclopean scientist shows up to steal his spot.
And then the guy who ruins everything shows up to ruin everything.
As he always does. So we've got some questions here on the Discord. Dark Aurorinajon asks, which Transformer uses a magnet to scoop all the pennies out of the wishing fountain?
Swindle.
Ratchet. Swindle is right. Actually, specifically for that, when I was saying that, I was thinking of animated Ratchet specifically because he does already have magnet powers, and that just seems like something he would do. If you think this Ratchet is crotchety, just wait until we get to animated Ratchet, everyone. That motherfucker is old.
Yeah, I mean, I usually try to keep it within Prime, but when we within the series that we're covering, but this is just Swindle. Sorry.
This is absolutely Swindle behavior.
Yeah.
Whenever even regardless of what incarnation Swindle's in, I can only ever hear the animated voice because it's so fucking perfect. He sounds like a fucking used car salesman in animated. It's great. Also, she asks, what's your favorite genre of metal you totally just made up?
Wise metal.
Oh, I really like wise metal.
That was very unwise. Yes, very unwise. From the people who brought you wise posting.
Transylvanian gruntcore. Love a good grunt. Spike asks, Ailstorm or Gloryhammer? From the sounds of them, those are definitely both symphonic power metal bands.
Ailstorm are a Scottish heavy metal band formed in Perth, Scotland, and Gloryhammer is a British power metal band founded by keyboardist Christopher Bowes.
Okay, well, one of them is Scottish, so I'm gonna choose Ailstorm.
Yeah, it's gotta be Ailstorm. Also, one of them has beer in its name.
Exactly. That's how you know they know how to party. Gloryhammer just sounds like a bunch of paladins. Although I bet both. I will actually.
It sounds like a gay bar.
That's either. Well, now I'm reconsidering. But yeah, I'm gonna look these two up after this episode and sample some of their music. I've been on a little bit of a power metal kick lately. Slipstream Sam asks, what's your group's mom friend snack go-to? Do you bring fruits, nuts, some kind of candy? What would Optimus and or Ratchet bring along on adventures? Okay, Ratchet is not the mom friend. Let us make one thing clear. Ratchet does not provide snacks.
My go-to has always been dried fruit. I really this is sort of what I do. Mostly, the only place I do this kind of stuff for is cons. When I went to them, and dried fruit always hit really well, 5 hours in to being sweaty in an artist alley. I really like dried pineapple and dried kiwi especially, and dried mango of course always hits.
Get them electrolytes.
What would Optimus bring?
I think Optimus, he seems like a trail mix guy.
I think he just brings Energon cubes.
But
They're
like,
they're the most nutritionally healthy for you.
okay, but all right. So here's the question. He doesn't have a human partner. He's kind of the like sort of distant but still their dad. He doesn't really interact with them directly that much when it comes to like on missions. But what do each of the human companions stash in their glove compartments, or like the human companion Autobots?
Miko has a wide range of Pocky.
I was about to say, yeah, Bulkhead's fucking glove box is just full of Pocky.
Yeah, that's just a lot of Pocky. Raph, I think, does the trail mix.
I feel like Raph is a sensible snacker despite being the youngest, yeah.
I think he's a sensible snacker. And I think Jack does something savory, like maybe chips.
Is Jack a beef jerky guy, do you think?
That was the first thing I thought of, actually.
Because, like, it's easy to kind of hone in on the other two's tastes, but Jack is a little bit more mysterious.
I feel like Jack started eating, like, beef jerky as part of his, like, Cub Scouts training.
Yeah.
And, like, really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, like a teriyaki beef jerky is certainly a go-to on my road trips.
Yeah, you want to make sure that you have that protein so you can, make it through.
Arcee has Arcee has a beef jerky pouch somewhere on the seat.
It's underneath. The seat like flips up. Like it's the barrier between the car seats and the front.
Yep. All right. Yep.
Yeah.
The fucking jerky case under there.
Mm-hmm.
Airachnid
Slim Jims as far as you can see.
Oh God. Airachnid asks, if you died and were being pulled into a hell portal, which Prime character would you try to take down with you? I
mean, probably Megatron. He is the guy who sucks.
Yeah, I mean, the correct answer would be Megatron. I mean, yeah, probably Megatron. I wouldn't get very far, as he is large.
The keyword here is try.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely probably going to be a Megatron. Everyone else is too cool, or like,
everyone else is at least redeemable, or interesting.
Yeah, Soundwave is a bit iffy. I think his loyalty to Megatron is an issue, but like otherwise, he's not doing too much.
I think Soundwave is redeemable.
Yeah.
I think if you permanently removed Megatron from the equation, he would be like normal, basically.
Yeah. Let's see. Dark Aurora John's answer was make sure Cliffjumper dies a third time. If you Casper also asks, if you had to recast the show Phineas and Ferb with Prime characters, who would they be? I have never watched any Phineas and Ferb.
Neither had I, but I assume it has to be Knockout and Breakdown.
Yeah. So like, I know the general like setup and the dynamics of the Phineas and Ferb characters. I've kind of absorbed that much through osmosis. So so Phineas is like. He's like the pointy-nosed one who does all the schemes. Ferb is the silent one. So actually, this is clearly Starscream and Soundwave.
No, I think it's Knockout and Breakdown, and Starscream is Candace.
Oh my god. So, who is fucking Dr. Doofenshmirtz? Shockwave?
Yes!
Which...
A con?
Which
a Predacon?
Smokescreen, or Perry the Platypus's smokescreen. I understand we haven't got to those characters yet, but trust me, those are very accurate roles for them to fill.
Wait, no. Apraxian? An Autobot? Smokescreen the Autobot?
She also asks, y'all seen Minecraft lately? They got an echolocation boss. Which Prime character would be the best at beating each Minecraft boss in Minecraft or IRL?
There are Minecraft bosses?
I remember when they had one. What do you mean they added another one?
There's an Ender Dragon, right?
I know about two Minecraft bosses.
I know about the Ender Dragon. That's it.
There's also a Wither Skull that you can like summon on the overworld. Those are the only two I know about. Will you tell me they have multiple bosses in Minecraft now? Those two?
You are aging me quickly.
Hold on a minute. I need to Google this. Hang on, hold up. Minecraft bosses. What the fuck is going on over in Minecraft? Okay, there are 4 Minecraft bosses. Maybe there are 4 Minecraft bosses. So we got the Redstone Golem, the Nameless One, the Whisperer, and the Wretched Wraith. Oh my god, there's so many more. Oh my god. Wait.
I can't do this. Sorry, Cass.
I'm just tumbling down like, oh god, they've really been okay, some of these are from that Diablo game, that fucking Minecraft Dungeons game. That doesn't count. So I'm gonna say none of them are good at fighting the Minecraft bosses in Minecraft because Minecraft wasn't a game built for combat, and all of those boss fights suck shit. IRL, I mean, anyone who can fly can pretty easily fight the Ender Dragon.
Yeah,
so,
just put God mode on.
80% of the Decepticons, other than Breakdown and Knockout.
Yeah.
Robinus Prime asks, what's the difference between a Transformer name and a drag name, like mechanically?
One very key difference, drag names are all wordplay. Transformers names aren't wordplay, they're just, like, things.
They're just, like, sometimes they're just normal words like swindle or brawl or ratchet. And then sometimes you smash 2 things together like Skywarp and Starscream and Dreadwing.
Right. Who?
He surely there will be no Decepticon called Dreadwing who will show up.
I don't know a Dreadwing.
Now let me just take a big sip of this coffee and wait a season and a half.
Surely, yeah.
There's no way he'll be voiced by Tony Todd, and let me take a big bite of this cereal. Airachnid follows it up with, what is Knockout's drag Sona? So it has to be wordplay.
Yeah.
Although technically this version of Knockout's name is already kind of wordplay. Because, like, he's supposed to be a knockout. Like, he's like a handsome fella. What does he like? He likes racing and torturing people.
Red Corvette.
There you go. Got it in 1. And finally, Dark Aurora Energon asks a very important question. I must ask, in all of the Transformers canon, are there robot MILFs?
Yes. Her name is Alita 1.
Yes.
Alita 1 is a robot MILF. Fuck you.
Yeah, especially in IDW 1.
Yeah.
I guess you could,
and G1, frankly.
Yeah. But, like, G1, like, classic G1 Alita 1 is sort of like, she's a G1 character, so her personality isn't terribly shining, and she mostly exists to be Optimus's wife. But IDW 1 Alita 1, she's a girl boss.
And Lady of the Flame.
I was about to say, yeah, Lady of the Flame. She's a MILF. I guess there, you know, there's like edge cases of like, I guess you can count G1 Arcee because she's kind of Daniel's mom, sort of.
Cyberverse Strika.
Oh yes, definitely. Trying to think of some other ones.
I mean, there just aren't that many female characters.
Yeah, there aren't that many female characters. There are even less who are in like a motherly role, really. Because I mean, IDW definitely quadrupled the amount of female cast members.
Yeah, now there are 8.
But not all. But you know, not all of them are terribly.
No, most of them
coded.
Most of them are
Pyra Magna.
Yeah. Oh, Solus Prime.
Oh, the original MILF.
Yeah.
God's first MILF.
God's first MILF.
Who had to die to do something. I don't know.
To save us from our sins.
Exactly. What if Jesus was a MILF, a blacksmith, and ripped? And that's Solus Prime.
God, speaking of Alita 1, I saw a post today on Tumblr and I was like, can you imagine if, like, G1 and Prime Optimus switched? And
holy shit.
Like, imagine, like, an Optimus half the size fighting Prime Megatron and just fully destroying him. Fully destroying them, and all the Autobots being like, but what about your tragic past and everything? And Optimus going, my what? Where's my wife?
Oh my god, I love that. You know, I've never actually seen the episode that has the female Autobots from G1, weirdly enough. I never ended up watching it.
And then on the other side of it, it's like, now imagine a 25-foot tall Optimus in comparison to the 10-foot tall average Autobots accidentally hitting Megatron too hard in G1 after trying to give him a speech, and Ironhide going, wow, I can't wait to tell your wife the war is over, and Optimus going, my what?
Where's my husband? So yeah, I would like to see that. God, I can't wait to get to G1.
It's coming soon.
Finally, a booby trap that actually catches boobies.
Possibly the most, quoted iconic quote from Optimus.
Yeah, non-Transformers the movie quote.
Right. Not, one shall stand, one shall fall, till all are one, etc.
Yep. I'm gonna make that fucking remix the outro music for this episode. No, I can't shoot that shot too early. I gotta wait until we actually get to that episode. We've been Prime Cuts. You can follow us on Twitter at PrimeCutsPod, and also join our Discord, which is in the link in our bio on Twitter. That's right. We are coming up pretty soon on the end of Season 1 of Prime, which means that we will be streaming Transformers 2007 in here on an off week for its 15th anniversary.
I love dying and being dead.
Oh God, I saw that movie when I was 10 years old. Anyway.
Yeah, that's what you were 15 years ago. Very cool. Very cool. I'm having a normal time about it.
I made you feel older, didn't I?
Yeah. You think you're bad.
No, you're withering away.
I was 16.
Whoa.
Well,
all right,
almost 16.
Regardless, we will be streaming that soon enough, and also we've got a couple of we're going to be finishing off the season with 2 guest spots in a row. So get excited for those. So yeah, next week and the week after are both going to be guest episodes. And then we're covering the big 3-episode finale arc in 1 episode at the end. And let me tell you, the season 1 finale of Prime goes fucking crazy. It's nuts.
It's ooh, God. I have a very good AMV that I'm going to share.
The 3-parter is called One Shall Rise, by the way. So we're playing the hits. But you have a lot to look forward to. Well, there is an episode called One Shall Fall, followed by the 3-parter.
Okay. Yes. Right.
Or I may have that backwards, but I'm pretty sure I have that.
No, it's One Shall Falls first.
Yeah. So then there's 3 episodes of One Shall Rise, and normal things will happen in those episodes. I'm here. You can find me on Twitter, Dragon Smoocher. You can find my various other projects in various other places, like the comprehensive companion podcast for Final Fantasy XIV Online I do with my friend Jane. That is Radio Free Heidelin at Heidelin Radio on Twitter. I also did a show with her previously on the 2018 She-Ra Netflix series called Podcast to Power. That is Podcast to Power on Netflix. And I am also on Disney Minus. That is at Disney Minus Pod, crawling and clawing our way through all of the garbage on Disney Plus. Our latest episode was on Cars, and truly a cinematic world that only gets more troubling the longer you think about it. Just a horrible creation, with no good answers to any of our questions, really. So if you want to hear us puzzling out what the fuck is going on in the world of Cars over 2 hours, you can look forward to that episode posting, I think, the same day this episode is posted. So hey, Cars. They've gotten meat tongues, people. You need to think about that. Or maybe don't. Never think about that again, actually, because I thought about it once and it ruined my life. Okay, those are my projects.
Okay. I'm Audrey. You can find me on Tumblr and Twitter at Optimum on Prime. That's my funny robot internet joke. You can also listen to the other podcast I do called Pod of Greed. It's about Yu-Gi-Oh! And we just finished Season 3 this past weekend. We have a wrap-up episode... of GX this past weekend. We have a wrap-up episode sometime this week. Then we'll be taking a little summer break and starting our fall semester for our 4th year of high school in September. You can find that and this show on Noisepace, which you can find at noisepace.xyz. There's a bunch of other really good shows there, and I'm actually trying to do some ones we haven't mentioned in a while, so it's things like 0 to 0, Forward to Forward Re-Zero, and Digimon Ghost Gaze. Those are the ones I'm gonna plug today. So, give us a listen there. You can also find us personally on Twitter at PrimeCutsPod. You can join our Discord, which is has a link in the bio of our Twitter and in the description of all of our episodes. And you can join us to do all those fun things we talked about, like airing those movies and asking us questions. Do that. And until next time, I'm going to put on my robot attracting heels, transform and roll out.
I am going to excitedly transform and roll out directly into a structurally unstable abandoned mine and hope nothing bad happens.
Peach.
Peach.